Part 9. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 81. In fact, the instant noodles thing is just like scissor hands before. Maybe it's because it's too nationalized, so when any meal replacement food comes out, it will be promoted in a way that downgrades instant noodles. Say what? Instant noodles are unhealthy, but our meal replacement products are healthy. Our products have all been certified by the state. Step on the high and support the low. It's not because instant noodles are bad, it's just because they are so good that people will naturally take them out when they promote them. Yes, there are indeed various food additives in instant noodles. Eating too much is indeed unhealthy. Experts have also said that. But that's when you eat it every day, every meal, and often. Who has so much free time to show off instant noodles every day? Isn't it just a convenience to have a meal once in a while? What we are saying is that many experts now speak in a way that is not realistic. They just say whatever they want without considering the actual situation at all. For example, if your child is a picky eater and doesn't like to eat, he likes to eat instant noodles. Can you say that you don't let him eat it? Instant noodles are all about convenience, and they are convenient for both adults and children. If you say it is not healthy and don't let them eat it, then okay, why don't you just spend time and effort doing something else for them? They don't care about people's livelihood at all. They only care about their own interests. Maybe those experts are paid. Why do so many people now distrust experts? Because their lives may not be the same as ours. This is true even for experts, let alone celebrities and entertainers. Many people may only dare to think about the life of celebrities and artists, especially those at the top. If nothing else, they would talk about Zhang Shuo. In his eyes, Gu Huiyan's cooking of instant noodles is really like poison. But in his eyes, many people have grown up eating poison. As expected of you, Gu Huiyan. Shang Zuoyan smiled and patted Gu Huiyan on the shoulder, with a good guy's attitude. She didn't know if she really praised Gu Huiyan. Want to eat? Gu Huiyan asked. Shang Zuoyan was a little hesitant for a moment. This smell had really been gone for a long time. She hadn't smelled it in many years. She hadn't touched this thing since she went abroad to be a trainee. When she smelled it just now, she felt like the DNA has been moved. That must be what you want to eat? But it's definitely unhealthy, and it's definitely not good oil since it's a lot of oil. Shang Zuoyan, who has trouble controlling her figure, was too lazy to exercise today because of the rain. If she eats more, she will really gain weight. Forget it. She pouted and said this under the agents watching. Gu Huiyan shrugged and said nothing more, but the cold fair-skinned beauty Pei Jingshu quietly came over and whispered. Can I have a taste? There was light flashing in her watery eyes, staring at the pot of braised beef instant noodles cooked by Gu Huiyan was very novel. Others may have it engraved in their DNA, but our Princess Pei Jingshu has never eaten or smelled this food since she was a child. Sister Pei grew up in a privileged family, and her family was very particular about food and drink. Every meal was nutritious and she would never be given instant noodles. Pei Jingshu had only heard of this thing from her classmates and people around her. She had seen this thing in the supermarket before she became popular. If she wanted to eat it, she had never eaten it. I remember one time when a staff member was eating instant noodles, she wanted to try it, but her sister Pei Ya sternly stopped her, saying that it was bad for the skin, bad for the body, not good here, not good there. But Pei Jingshu wanted to say that it was really fragrant, even more fragrant than the rice noodles we ate out yesterday. Can't you just satisfy your curiosity? Sure. Gu Huiyan nodded and grinned. I'll fill a bowl for you, but it's already under the pot. If you want to eat the eggs, you can only eat mine. When the pot was boiling, Gu Huiyan put down all the ingredients and ordered that he could no longer crack eggs. He only cracked 2 eggs, his own and Xilan's. If Pei Jingshu wanted to eat, she could only eat his. You are so generous, Shang Zuoyan couldn't help but complain. If you want to eat it, it's definitely not available, Gu Huiyan said calmly. I only have 1 egg. Shang Zuoyan. Hey, Gu Huiyan, how can you be so partial? She clenched her small fists and punched Gu Huiyan in a frenzy, and the two of them had a lot of fun playing around. The mature sister Xilan looked at the scene with a smile. She walked to the kitchen silently to help take out the dishes and put them aside. The older sister is very careful and takes care of people. Looking at this scene, Zhang Shuo and Su Yuntang's mouths twitched. Best actor Su was feeling better. Zhang Shuo, the top actor, looked at Shang Zuoyan and sister Xilan, who clearly sent her heartwarming messages last night, but they were all surrounding Gu Huiyan, and felt a little doubtful about life for a moment. It felt a little different from his imagination. Xilan and Shang Zuoyan didn't seem to have any intention of favoring him. But that country bumpkin Gu Huiyan, why is he so popular when he cooks instant noodles? While laughing, the instant noodles were cooked. Although the fragrant instant noodles are not as attractive as yesterday's soy pot noodles with vegetables and green onions and ginger, the instant noodles with a poached egg lying on it are also very tempting. The most important thing is that it smells delicious. It can go straight into the nasal cavity from a long distance. This braised beef flavor is really classic. Xilan smiled and said. Suddenly I remembered the days when I was working as a minor player in Hongdian. When the mature sister first entered this industry and became famous, she worked as a bid player for a while. In those days, not all crews provided box lunches to the cast members in Hongdian. Some crews would give out instant noodles or something, and get some hot water for them to soak in and eat. Just to satisfy hunger. What I ate at that time was braised beef flavored instant noodles, which left a deep impression on me. After so many years, to be honest, Xilan has almost forgotten this taste. I originally wanted to buy Laotan pickled vegetables. Gu Huiyan came over with a bowl and shrugged helplessly. Let's be honest, the taste of Laotan pickled cabbage is really the best. If it hadn't happened like that, only this braised beef could be shaken. Ft, cluck. The mature sister was so amused that she giggled and said. I prefer the shrimp flavor. Oh, that one tastes super delicious. Gu Huiyan nodded in approval. Needless to say, when it comes to taste, Xilan is really an expert. When talking about melon seeds, she can list many weird flavors for Gu Huiyan. She also knows a lot about instant noodles, especially the fact that she recently released a coriander-flavored instant noodles. It's a pity that Gu Huiyan's face darkened when he heard about cilantro-flavored instant noodles. What flavor of instant noodles do you like to eat? Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down-to-earth. Author, Buletin Shi Xuan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 82. Gu Huiyan doesn't eat coriander. He has actually been a good boy since he was a child. He eats basically all fruits and vegetables, but rarely eats a few vegetables such as carrots, celery, and coriander. Especially coriander, it doesn't even taste good. He had never quite understood how there could be such a weird tasting food as coriander in this world. Disgusting. Hitui. Cilantro is very delicious, and people who love it love it. The mature sister covered her mouth and smiled. At this moment, Xilan actually felt that it was not that difficult for her and Gu Huiyan to communicate. They also had common topics. This made the actor Su, who was eating cereal silently, so angry that he almost bit off his spoon. Zhang Shuo didn't feel any better. The smell was strong on a rainy day. Now the whole house was filled with the smell of braised beef instant noodles. Smelling the smell, he felt that it was as cheap as possible. In his eyes, shouldn't the smell of a place where a group of celebrities and artists are present be associated with high-end cosmetics and perfumes? How the hell can it be linked to instant noodles that cost 2 or 3 yuan a pack in roadside supermarkets? Ha ha ha. Even some viewers were dumbfounded. They never thought that the topic that the glamorous celebrities were talking about could be the taste of instant noodles. In the end, they could only say one thing. You really have gu huayan. It has to be said that where gu huayan is present, the style of painting can easily go astray. Chiliu. The cold fair-skinned beauty Pei Jingshu didn't speak, she just flipped her shawl long hair while silently eating a small bowl of instant noodles that Gu Huayan served for herself. Pei Ya had something to do this morning and was busy communicating with her and had no time to take care of her, so Pei Jingshu dared to seize the opportunity to take care of Gu Huayan and ask for instant noodles. I have to say that this small bowl of instant noodles really opened the door to a new world for Pei Jingshu. Her eyes lit up when she took the first bite, and then she couldn't stop talking. I said Pei Jingshu. This made the little wild horse Shang Zuoyan on the side unable to listen anymore. She couldn't help but complain. Can you stop eating so deliciously? If you do this, I won't be able to bear it. She was restraining herself, but the aroma of the instant noodles really penetrated into her bones. However, Pei Jingshu ate it so deliciously, which made her feel so embarrassed. Feel sorry. Pei Jingshu smiled naively and straightened her long black hair. She really had never eaten instant noodles. Is this the first time for Jingshu to eat? Xylin, the mature sister who is considerate, obviously saw this and asked. Pei Jingshu pursed her lips and smiled, and nodded slightly. Everyone looked at Pei Jingshu sympathetically. Everyone knew that she grew up in a wealthy family and was actually a princess, so no one was surprised. There are so many things you haven't done yet. On the other hand, it was Gu Huayan, who was eating instant noodles and saying, I didn't even ride an electric bike yesterday. Well. Halfway through the words, Gu Huayan's mouth was suddenly blocked. Pei Jingshu reacted very quickly. She blushed and ran over quickly, stretched out a slender and skinny hand to cover Gu Huayan's mouth, and said. Don't say. Didn't you agree not to tell others last night? Why did this bastard turn around and sell it to her? Sister Pei. A group of Wei fans who were watching the show exploded on the spot. God knows how heartbroken they were when Pei Jingshu's white and tender little hands covered Gu Huayan's mouth that was full of oil from eating instant noodles. This Gu Lulu is so disgusting, Sister Pei. Don't touch him, Sister Pei. Gu Huayan smiled helplessly. In fact, he felt that this was not a shameful thing. Besides, it was not Pei Jingshu's fault. It was not a bad thing that the money his family received was too expensive. Many people wanted to be given such valuable money but they did not have the conditions. Giggle. Xylin changed the subject with a smile and said. How did your egg lie down? It's very complete. Indeed, Gu Huayan laid down 2 hard-boiled eggs, without shells, and they were cooked quite completely, without any foam at all. When many people cook instant noodles and boil a poached egg, it is easy for the egg to fly away after being knocked in. After boiling for a long time, there is not much left of the egg, and it may become egg soup. You can put this in the pot when it's just bubbling before you start it, then turn on a low heat. After it's set, turn to high heat and wait until the pot is ready. Gu Huayan answered very naturally. Speaking of which, Gu Huayan learned the trick of cooking eggs in instant noodles from his mother. The elders in the family may not have much ability, but they always have rich experience in these little life skills. This is the answer. Many people on the barrage are saying. I learned. I said that every time I cook the eggs, I can't boil them completely. That's it? Search Daisne. Ding, the host successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, points at 91. The system points prompt sounded, and Gu Huayan was stunned for a moment. What's going on? Are there really many people who don't know how to cook poached eggs when cooking instant noodles? No way. Learned. It is worth mentioning that the goddess sister Xylin also nodded seriously. Well, they succeeded in refreshing Gu Huiyan's knowledge. Having said that, when cooking instant noodles, you actually need to add something to go with it. Generally, poached eggs and ham sausage go best with instant noodles. Oh yes, ham sausage. Gu Huiyan's eyes lit up when he thought of ham sausage. He was so busy that he even forgot to buy some ham sausages when buying instant noodles yesterday. Putting down his chopsticks and standing up, Gu Huiyan walked into the kitchen and took out 3 more ham sausages from the cupboard where he had taken instant noodles. He handed one to Xilan and Pei Jingshu respectively, and then took his own one back. I forgot to put it away. You can peel it off yourself. Gu Huiyan bit the ham sausage wrapper with his teeth, and then. This guy is so direct, right in front of the camera and in front of everyone. No need for a knife, just bite with your mouth, that's it. Bite a piece in one bite and throw it into the bowl. Take another bite and throw it into the bowl. Piece by piece, he cut the ham sausage into his noodle bowl by biting it. Everyone was dumbfounded at that time, right? This operation is so smooth. 666. The barrage exploded. A group of people said crazily. All I can say is that you have to do the whole job, Gu Huiyan. I feel like he's acting like I'm eating instant noodles, ha ha ha. This reminds me of the time when we were in the dormitory in junior high school. After the lights were turned off, a few of us secretly made instant noodles. We didn't have knives at that time, so that's how we ate, ha ha ha. This kid has been doing this for a long time. Look how skillful he is. Instant noodles are also divided into eating methods. Instant noodles and ham are definitely a perfect match, and the ham used to cook instant noodles must be cut with a knife. I only use my mouth when I have to eat bucket noodles outdoors without a knife and have no choice but to eat cold ham, or when I am too lazy to use a knife. And Gu Huiyan vividly restored this scene. Still in front of so many top celebrities, in front of the camera of the show, such a scene was restored that was a bit tragic, a bit funny, and a bit dumbfounding. Ding, the host has successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, and the points are at 91x7. At this moment, Gu Huiyan's system points received a critical hit. Cough cough cough. Gu Huiyan choked. Good guy, if you eat a piece of ham, that won't be enough. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 83. Gu Huiyan. Shang Zuoyan really can't stand it anymore. It's inappropriate to say that she dislikes it. The main thing is that she really can't laugh or cry. What are you doing to eat this? This is Shang Zuoyan. I have never seen anyone eat ham like this since I was a child. Most people eat ham sausage, cut it into slices and put it into the noodles when cooking noodles, or peel it off and eat it directly. These are very common ways of eating. But she had never seen anyone eat ham in such a way that they took one bite and threw it in the bowl, took another bite and threw it in the bowl again. Yes, Gu Huiyan also said that he forgot to cut it. But you don't want to use your teeth to play the role of a knife and cut it with your mouth. To be honest, Shang Zuoyan wants to say, are you so dirty? Every mouthful of ham sausage is stained with saliva. But I'm embarrassed to say. Because it was all Gu Huiyan's own saliva. How can you think that you are dirty? What he did was a bit disgusting. It made everyone feel a little disgusted, but they couldn't find anything wrong with it. Pook. Giggle. Sitting on either side of Gu Huiyan, the mature sister Xilan and the cold fair-skinned beauty Pei Jingshu also laughed so hard that their delicate bodies trembled. They were really amused by Gu Huiyan. At this time, they all still held the ham sausage given by Gu Huiyan in their hands. For a moment, they were thinking, Why not try this way of eating it themselves? It's really fresh. It's so rare to see such a way of eating in daily life. Xylin was thinking, why didn't she think of such a way of eating when she was working as a freelancer in Hongdian? At that time, I ate instant noodles outdoors in December in winter. Although Hongdian is located in the south of the Yangtze River and it is not as cold as Beijing, it was still several degrees below zero. Not only did the noodles get cold quickly, but the ham sausage was also icy cold. It was just like eating popsicles. Same. Xylin was thinking that if she had thought of eating like this at that time, her mouth would really be full of heat. Not far away, the movie King Su and top star Zhang Shuo twitched at the corners of their mouths as they watched this scene. Gu Huiyan was always using practical actions to crazily refresh their understanding of him. At once. You think he might be cheap enough to eat instant noodles. But this country bumpkin can also give you a new job. There's just no big thing to say. Who knows, my family. Even the scene of Gu Huiyan eating instant noodles and chewing ham makes it impossible for people to associate him with the artist recording the show. You are just looking after Gu Huiyan. Most people would never imagine that a diao was sung by him. Speaking of a diao, this song was released on various music platforms last night and has achieved good results. It has entered the top 3 on the new song charts of several platforms and has gained a huge reputation. But if you just look at Gu Huiyan like this, you will feel that he is a funny guy, a comedian, and he has a sense of village spirit in every aspect. A song like a diao that has connotation, energy, and inspiration is really unbelievable. Like it has something to do with him. Regarding this matter, a netizen in the comment area gave a divine comment. Brother Gu and Gena really have their own differences. This comment is very insightful, and it is particularly appropriate to comment on Gu Huiyan. Have you never seen it? What's funny is that when faced with Shang Zuoyan's dumbfounding, Gu Huiyan not only didn't feel anything was wrong, but instead smiled and said, "Today I'm going to pull your ass with a knife and open your eyes." Ha ha ha. At that time, everyone nearby could not stop laughing, and some staff members almost laughed out loud. The other side of the barrage even called, "Gu Huiyan, you are a real talent. How can you make such a joke with a girl? I can't stand looking at this little fairy boy." Gu Huiyan. Shang Zuoyan looked even more ashamed and angry, and rushed over with a pink fist. Gu Huiyan laughed and quickly begged for mercy. Shang Zuoyan didn't know why, but she and Gu Huiyan became happy enemies. After a while of fussing, Gu Huiyan stopped talking nonsense and stopped working, concentrating on cooking. What's funny is that the mature sister Xylin actually imitated Gu Huiyan's way of eating later. After tearing open the ham sausage, she also bited it into the bowl, which caused a burst of tears. Many people called out directly, "Gu Huiyan, you have led the goddess to ruin. You are the only one who owns you, beep beep beep." It is worth mentioning that after only a few bites, Xylin felt that this action was a bit indecent, so she stopped the exercise with a slight blush. Pei Jingshu, the cool fair-skinned beauty next door, felt really fresh when she saw this scene. She saw that Gu Huiyan was eating deliciously, and Sister Xylin also imitated it, so she also wanted to imitate Gu Huiyan in biting and eating. As a result, her agent sister Pei Yai happened to come over after finishing her work. When she saw Pei Jingshu eating instant noodles, she was so excited that she quickly reminded Pei Jingshu that if she hadn't been recording the show, she would have rushed in and fought with Gu Huiyan. It caused a lot of laughter and laughter. Pattering. It was still raining outside, and everyone was eating breakfast in the restaurant. Although some people always looked unhappy, it was quite interesting to laugh and laugh. After breakfast, Gu Huiyan went into the kitchen to put away the dishes, scrub the pots and wash the dishes. His mature sister Xylin came over and said, come on, Gu Huiyan said, "Let's do it together." The two of them finished cleaning up in a short while. "Because I got up early, I actually had quite a lot of time in the morning. Yesterday, we all discussed going out to play together today, going to Zizhu ancient town to eat Zizhu Baba or something. However, it's raining heavily today. It's wet outside and it's hard to go out to play, so I just plan to hang out in the crystal courtyard. The program team is sensible and has prepared some games for the guests, such as landlord fighting, werewolf killing, script killing. It has quite an atmosphere and the program is pretty good. It's just that Gu Huiyan didn't participate. After breakfast, he went upstairs to wash up, took a drink of water and rested for a while. Seeing that the rain was light, he grabbed an umbrella and went out. Where is he going? Everyone was playing games. Seeing Gu Huiyan going out, the mature sister Xylin asked thoughtfully. Have no idea. The guests shook their heads. Gu Huiyan didn't like greeting people very much. The day before yesterday, everyone only found out about this kid when he went out to buy potato chips when he was showing off. But seeing as he went out wearing big slippers, it was raining outside, so he shouldn't have gone too far. Xylin thought that if he didn't come back after a while, she would call him again. Without thinking much, everyone continued to play the game. It is worth mentioning that actor Su did not participate in their game. Actor Su Yuntang doesn't really like to play games among young people in his daily life. He doesn't know how to do it, and he has no interest in playing it. When he has nothing to do, he usually plays golf, tennis, etc. with his friends. When I can only stay indoors, I usually drink tea and chat with friends. Seeing Gu Huiyan go out and the guests were playing again, Su Yuntang thought for a while, got up and went to the kitchen. First, turn on the range hood. Buzz buzz. I smoked at maximum for a long time. It wasn't until the cheap smell of Gu Huiyan's braised beef instant noodles was almost gone that he nodded with satisfaction. After running to his room upstairs and bringing down a tea can, movie Emperor Su returned to the living room and tea room. There is nothing more comfortable than drinking tea and chatting with friends on a rainy day. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 84. Rainy days are more suitable for making tea, as the smell is easier to evaporate. Just the fragrance of a good pot of tea will make people intoxicated. Next to the guest room, there is a tea table specially set up. It was originally made by the program team to create a sense of atmosphere. The show has been on air for a few days, but no one has used it yet. Today, it was easy to find this leisure and elegance. The actor Su Yuntang sat in front of the tea table, put the tea set aside, and took his own set of cyan tea sets from the assistant. I am very particular about putting teacups and other things in a certain order. Gurgling. A pot of water is boiling and scalding hot. The actor Su Yuntang placed a covered and cushioned tea bowl in the center. Pour boiling water into the tea bowl, warm the cup first, then pour it out as soon as it gets slightly hotter. Immediately after pouring the tea, use wooden tweezers to pick out the appropriate amount of tea leaves from the tea can and pour it into the tea bowl. Fill it with water, soak it warmly, and the water should overflow. Scraping foam, cleaning utensils, and then holding the tea bowl cover in one hand and rotating it back and forth along the rim of the bowl to stimulate the fragrance of the tea. Finally, tap the lid of the bowl with your index finger, press the sides of the bowl with your middle finger, ring finger, little finger, and thumb respectively, pour out the first bowl of tea soup, and make the soup. You can enjoy the aroma of tea at this time. After tasting the tea, Su Yuntang came back and flipped the bowl mat over, placed the tea bowl, and made the second cup of water. He was not in a hurry during the brewing time. He took out a few small teacups and put them aside and arranged them neatly like a military formation. Then he took out the first bowl of tea soup and poured it into several small teacups casually. Use tweezers to hold one teacup and pour it into another teacup. A series of steps flowed smoothly. After washing the teacups, the second cup of tea was brewed. Su Yuntang repeated the previous actions, asked for tea soup, poured it into the teapot, then picked up the teapot and started pouring tea into the washed cups. There is also care when pouring. The posture is very graceful when going up and down. After pouring the tea, I brewed a third pot of tea. This time, all the tea leaves were dried. I flipped the tea bowl over the bowl mat and placed all the tea leaves on the lid. The lid of this bowl is slightly flat with supports underneath, just like a display stand. The brewed tea leaves on it are displayed in front of everyone like a display. This step is to appreciate the color of tea. After admiring the color of the tea, he put the tea bowl back on, turned it over again, and set it aside. Su Yuntang turned his hand to indicate that it was ready to drink. Wow! When the camera was filming, Su Yuntang showed the series of actions smoothly in front of everyone with just one hand. Showing it to a group of spectators was a shock. How particular. Although I can't understand it, I feel, it's really awesome. As expected of our best actor Su, there is really no one else with his style. Su Yuntang wore something similar to a Taoist robe today. One of his previous roles was that of a Taoist priest, and he was also a mission Taoist priest. Today's look itself has a bit of a role restoration meaning, and when it makes tea, this look becomes even more interesting. To be honest, you can say that Su Yuntang likes to pretend, but you can't say that he has no taste or style. What I did just now, the authentic Kung Fu tea brewing method, no matter in terms of technique, angle, temperament, etc., there is no choice at all, it is quite standard. This is really. The little wild horse Shang Zuoyan was at a loss for words at this moment. She wanted to praise Su Yuntang, but she couldn't think of words for a long time. She really didn't want to say that Thai pants are hot, so she simply said, "Grace. Pook." Her reaction made many people laugh. In fact, when others do such elegant things, people who don't understand will feel a little embarrassed. Because they don't understand, they are afraid of praising the wrong thing even if they want to praise it. That is to say, Shang Zuoyan is more lively and talkative. Look at Pei Jingshu and Zhang Shuo. They don't talk when they don't understand. They just watch silently and drink tea silently. On the other hand, the mature sister Xylin watched Su Yuntang making tea with admiration. Although she didn't say anything, her expression seemed to understand everything. In fact, he did understand. When he smelled the aroma of tea, his eyes lit up. After picking up the teacup and taking a sip, he nodded in confirmation and said, "Wei Mountain de Hongbao." "Ha, yes." Su Yuntang smiled with satisfaction and said in his heart that she is indeed the woman I like. He explained, "This was given to me by a local friend when I was filming there last year. This tea is quite fragrant." Everyone nodded. Weishan de Hongbao Oolong tea is one of the top 10 famous teas in my country. The soup has a bright orange color, a rich orchid aroma, a high and long-lasting fragrance, and a mellow and sweet taste. Probably because of Su Yuntang's standard technique and the strong aroma of the tea, there is now a scent of hot tea around the tea table, which is refreshing. This smell made Su Yuntang very satisfied. He said that it was lucky that he turned on the range hood in advance to smoke out the nearby smell, otherwise the remaining smell of the braised beef instant noodles might have been ruined. And Su Yuntang is also very satisfied with the current atmosphere. Pattering. It was raining lightly outside, and the guests sat around the tea table, with him as the core, sipping tea and chatting. It was very comfortable. Especially when Gu Huiyan is not here, this is the most comfortable thing. Su Yuntang just thought of Gu Huiyan. Pa bang. Suddenly there was a sound of treading water outside the door. Everyone heard the sound and looked closely. Gu Huiyan walked in from the door holding an umbrella and carrying a plastic bag. The plastic bag Gu Huiyan was carrying was red, and it seemed to contain some bottle-like things, some big and some small, and it was hard to see what they were. Speaking of which, Gu Huiyan was also depressed. Usually the bags given in stores when buying things are transparent, but the bags given in this store are all red. Who knows, my family. The moment he saw Gu Huiyan coming back, Su Yuntang's eyes changed and he thought to himself, why didn't this kid die outside? Why did he come back? Of course, there was no change on his face, and he said with a friendly smile. Xiao Gu is back. Come have tea. Oh okay, come right away. Seeing everyone sitting around the tea table drinking tea, Gu Huiyan avoided the water in the yard and did not rush in. Instead, he walked to a faucet in the small yard. Crash. Open the faucet, water flows out gurglingly. Then Gu Huiyan held an umbrella and carried things, lowered his head and rolled up his trouser legs, and then stretched out one of his feet wearing flip-flops. Under the gaze of the guests and captured by the camera, he just jumped up. At that time, whether it was the guests or the audience watching the show, there was a collective question mark. Countless viewers expressed their dumbfounded expressions. Brother! Are you rushing to your feet? I'm drinking tea. Why does your style change immediately when you show up? Haha, I wear slippers when I go out when it rains at home and I have to wash my feet when I come back, ha ha ha. I don't know why, but as soon as he rushed his feet, I immediately noticed that the tea drinking over there was no longer fragrant. I'm done with you, you idiot, Gu Huiyan. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 85. Rainy days are actually quite annoying. Regardless of whether the rain is heavy or not, wearing cloth shoes will basically get wet when going out. Generally, the season is suitable. People who are not going to school or working like to wear slippers when going out in the rain. Not afraid of getting wet. It's just that it's easy to get your feet not very clean. Just like Gu Huiyan, he went out wearing his flip-flops just now. Maybe the village has some stone roads and no dirt roads, which look quite clean. He also tried his best to walk in areas where there was no accumulation of water, but there was always some spots on his feet. Pebbles or something. After coming back, my first reaction would definitely be to wash my feet, wash them off before entering the room. There happened to be a small faucet in the yard. Gu Huiyan thought that it would be respectful to everyone to rinse it outside before going in. In itself, what he did was right. Wearing slippers to go out and wash your feet when it rains is something that many people do in their daily lives. But who asked him to record this show in front of so many top celebrities, artists, and hundreds of thousands of viewers? Please. Look at the guests in the guest room. From head to toe, not to mention the outfit and makeup, every hair strand is exquisite. And they were tasting tea just now? The actor Su made such a professional kung fu tea, it was de hongbao. The scene just now is full of style no matter where it is placed. He thought Huiyan was dressed carelessly, but when he came back, he went to the yard to wash his feet in front of so many people. God knows, when everyone was sipping tea, they suddenly saw him washing his feet. What a contrast they felt. It just felt like they didn't live in the same world at all, and Gu Huiyan was a little confused. Even some viewers couldn't laugh or cry at him. All I can say is, your brother Gu is still your brother Gu. Ding, the host has successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, and the points are at 91x3. Gu Huiyan was quite surprised when he was notified that the system points had arrived in his account. Why is this so angry? Just a kick? Turning around, he found that the guests and some staff in the guest room were all staring at him, and some of them had rather strange expressions on their faces. Among them, the expression of the actor Su Yuntang is the most exciting. He had just invited Gu Huiyan over for tea with a smile, but before the smile could disappear from his face, Gu Huiyan had already gone to wash his feet. At that time, Su Yuntang didn't know whether to cry or laugh, and the expression management he used to manage the best actor suddenly failed. He really didn't expect that Gu Huiyan's flip-flops could actually trigger an extra plot on a rainy day. There is no one left. This country bumpkin. Zhang Shuo had black lines on his forehead. To be honest, he didn't know how Su Yuntang could bear it. If he wanted to do it himself, he would definitely fall out now. Pook. On the contrary, several female guests were amused by this scene. Shang Zuoyan shouted in confusion. "Can't you change your shoes?" Gu Huiyan shrugged and said nothing. He thought these flip-flops were very good. He must be mentally ill if he went out wearing cloth shoes in such a day. Gu Huiyan didn't pay much attention to everyone's various faces and eyes. He just shook the water off his feet before walking into the guest room. Call. The actor Su Yuntang took a deep breath. He had actually developed some antibodies against Gu Huiyan. After all, no matter how hard he punched today, it couldn't compare to the steak incident on the first day. That really left a psychological shadow on him. After sorting out his emotions for a while, a gentle smile reappeared on his elegant face. Watching Gu Huiyan put down his things, he waved to Gu Huiyan. "Xiao Gu, come and have tea." In front of the guests and the camera, Su Yuntang endured the steak incident, so how could it happen now? When others are rude to him, he doesn't care about being friendly to others and repaying evil with kindness. This is the most admirable thing. Okay. Gu Huiyan put down his things and came over quickly. Shang Zuoyan and Pei Jingshu subconsciously made room for him, and he sat in the middle. This scene triggered a wave of online reports about him from fans on both sides. To be honest, although Gu Huiyan looked carefree, he didn't have any strange smell on his body. All he had was the natural scent of washing powder, shower gel, and shampoo. In addition, he is indeed quite handsome, a bit like a little bitch, so in fact, even if he is barefaced and without makeup, he will not lose at all when sitting with these exquisite artists. Pattering. Su Yuntang poured Gu Huiyan a cup of tea, and he asked with a smile. "Does Xiao Gu usually drink tea?" He didn't mean to be disparaging, but he just wanted to chat, so drinking tea was just for chatting. In fact, he really wanted to get to know Gu Huiyan, because he felt that this kid was indeed hiding quite deeply. Su Yuntang was more polite to him after he sang a diao the day before yesterday. "Well, it counts as drinking." Gu Huiyan nodded, and everyone looked at him strangely after hearing this, because he didn't look like someone who usually tasted tea. Besides, at his age, in his 20s, how many people really have the leisure and elegance to enjoy tea? "Oh? What kind of tea do you usually like to drink?" Su Yuntang's eyes lit up and he became interested, thinking that he might be able to get something out of Gu Huiyan's mouth. Everyone also looked at Gu Huiyan. To be honest, Gu Huiyan had an attitude of going his own way and not caring about anything. In front of the professional tea art of the actor Su, he drank as much as he should without feeling it was very elegant. This would make people think that Gu Huiyan might really know something and be confident enough to do this. But who knows? Facing everyone's gaze, Gu Huiyan just calmly took a sip of the Huishan de Hongbao that Su Yuntang poured for him, then grinned and said, "Iced red tea." The words fell. The entire guest room fell into silence. Immediately afterwards. Puff. Pook. Giggle. Ha ha ha. The guests couldn't help but burst out laughing. Even Zhang Shuo didn't hold back, and they all laughed. Gu Huiyan. The audience couldn't laugh or cry at him, and the barrage was furious. "No, you call this regular tea drinking. Iced tea is also called tea. You really think this counts? Ha ha ha, iced black tea, it really looks like the kind of tea you Gu Huiyan would like to drink, ha ha ha. But there's nothing wrong with it. Why isn't iced tea considered tea? As expected of you, Gu Huiyan. It has to be you, Gu Huiyan. Gu Huiyan is really a talent. His talent lies in his talent. He is obviously not tall at all and has no understanding of those elegant and tasteful things, but he can confidently use his rather tacky things to talk to others when others are talking about similar topics with him. Let's talk. Thanks to Losai98, Fat Master, my surname is Su, Teacher Maydong, Baikan Zijun, I am your pretty brother, Reading Man 2001, Ba Theo, I don't like to read books and I like to remind people, bearded ones, book friends 202011281148173885. Several great people guys reward. Again, if there are any omissions, please bear with me. Without further ado, the update will be released tonight. I hope you will continue to support me. Thank you. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 86. To be honest, it is hard for everyone to imagine how he could talk about iced black tea that costs 3 yuan a bottle in front of the elegant actor Su Yuntang, who drinks a pot of Huishan de Hongbao that costs several thousand yuan a pound. This de Hongbao costs several thousand yuan for the high-quality ones, tens of thousands for the special ones, and the national guest gift tea is as high as 80,000 yuan per caddy. Don't mention the ones on the mother tree. They are so rare and top quality that they have stopped picking. Even those of Su Yuntang's level may not be qualified to buy them. Su Yuntang's de Hongbao may not be a very high-end item, but the worst it costs is several $1,000s. He, Su Yuntang, definitely doesn't buy bargains. And Gu Huiyan was able to associate this level of tea with the ice black tea that costs 3 yuan a pound in a roadside store. You are like Shang's Huiyan just now. She was careful even when praising Su Yuntang's tea-making technique, for fear of praising the wrong thing and making people think he didn't understand. But Gu Huiyan was completely messed up. He didn't understand at all, and he had no intention of pretending to understand. Instead, he reversed his tricks to Su Yuntang and everyone else. The key to the problem is that what he said makes it impossible for anyone to find fault with it. Because when Su Yuntang asked him if he usually drinks tea, he himself said that it counts as drinking tea. It's also counted. Not exactly drinking. So since Gu Huiyan himself said this in advance, what's wrong with iced black tea? Besides, wasn't Su Yuntang asking whether Gu Huiyan usually drank tea? So why isn't iced black tea considered tea? What's the matter, you look down on iced black tea? Haha. At the scene, even some staff couldn't help laughing after hearing this. No one thought that Gu Huiyan could play such a joke in such an elegant occasion. As the protagonist who is ridiculed, there is no need to say more about the actor Su Yuntang. When he first heard the 3 words ice black tea, he thought he heard it wrong. You know, when he looked at Gu Huiyan's confident look just now, he thought that this kid knew a lot about tea and was pretending to hide it. Woolen cloth. Who knew he actually said iced black tea? Iced tea. To be honest, Su Yuntang once thought that Gu Huiyan had already left a big psychological shadow on him after the steak incident, and that no matter how hard he worked in the future, he would be calm. No matter how hard he tries, he can't fix the steak incident, right? But how could Su Yuntang have imagined that Gu Huiyan's ice black tea today would be as effective as the steak incident, once again leaving considerable trauma in his young mind? He was speechless. I don't even understand what this guy Gu Huiyan is. Please. You ask who would make tea in Su Yuntang and talk about ice black tea in such an elegant setting. Ordinary people would not dare to say these 3 words, because they know very well that the quality of that thing is far from the current picture quality. Who would compare the drink iced black tea that costs 3 yuan a bottle with the Huishan de Hongbao made from the authentic 800 Kung Fu tea? Are you really kidding me? At this moment, in Su Yuntang's heart, tens of millions of grass and mud horses were galloping past wildly. Even with his actor-level expression management, he felt a little uncontrollable at this moment. If there weren't so many people here and in front of the camera, he really wanted to ask Gu Huiyan if he was serious about this guy. Cough cough cough. When Gu Huiyan said ice black tea just now, the mature sister Xylan was drinking tea. After drinking half a sip of tea, she spat it out when she heard the words. The pure white shirt was stained with some tea stains. She wiped her chest with a tissue and coughed lightly, while her delicate body trembled with uncontrollable laughter. To be honest, none of them expected Gu Huiyan to be able to say ice black tea. Shang Xuoyan, Pei Jingshu and Xylan had similar reactions. When Shang Xuoyan laughed, her heavy breasts jumped with her, which was quite eye-catching. It is worth mentioning that even Zhang Shuo gave Gu Huiyan a thumbs up, dumbfounded. Ding, the host successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, points at 91x3. The system gave a prompt, which made Gu Huiyan a little confused and down to earth. Just kidding, just kidding. Seeing everyone laughing, Gu Huiyan also scratched his head and explained with a smile. When my mother drinks tea at home, she usually drinks Taiguanyan and Rizao green tea. She has been drinking it with my mother since she was a child, so it can be regarded as tea. Just now, Gu Huiyan was just joking to create a show effect. Then who on the show wouldn't use jokes to create a show effect? Besides, this is not the same as being polite or impolite. Isn't drinking tea just for chatting? Who said that you can't chat about iced black tea that costs 3 yuan a bottle when you drink de hongbao worth several thousand yuan a caddy? This is like this. Su Yuntang tried his best to force out a smile that could barely be called a smile, and did not choose to have an attack. No way. Who asked him to ask Gu Huiyan about whether he drinks tea or not? The hatred in his heart now made him think about how mean he was to ask Gu Huiyan questions. From now on, you should never talk to this man, because you never know where he is waiting for you. Su Yuntang has left a psychological shadow anyway. Everyone continued to drink tea, and Su Yuntang continued to make tea for everyone with his skillful and elegant techniques. Although the atmosphere was slightly ruined because of Gu Huiyan, Su Yuntang still reluctantly accepted it with the smell of tea filling the room. What made Su Yuntang deeply gratified was that Gu Huiyan stopped working and drank tea silently. If anyone spoke to him, he would say a few words, and if no one answered him, he would stop talking. It's so itchy. At some point, Gu Huiyan scratched his arm and left the tea table. As soon as he left, Su Yuntang suddenly felt that the tea table was much more pleasing to the eye. Gently smelling the aroma of tea that filled the room, Su Yuntang pursed his lips and smiled slightly, saying, "This de hongbao is one of the top 10 famous teas in our country. The aroma of this tea." He originally wanted to say that the aroma of this tea is rich with the fragrance of orchids. Everyone can smell it carefully. The smell will be more prominent on rainy days. But the words are only half spoken. Su Yuntang subconsciously wanted to take a sip of the aroma of tea filling the room before explaining to everyone. Suddenly, Su Yuntang smelled a very pungent, choking, and strange smell. The smell was just like that of a gangster, and it instantly wiped out the aroma of tea in the whole room. People can only smell the smell, but not the fragrance of tea. And that smell? Quite familiar. It's just that I can't remember it for a while. Everyone in Su Yuntang was stunned at that time. Where the hell does the smell come from? What does it smell like? The guests obviously smelled it too. At the right time, on the other side of the guest room, where Gu Huiyan was, there was a sudden sound of spray from a sprayer. After hearing the news, everyone looked around and quickly located the source of the smell and sound. That turned out to be the bottle Gu Huiyan was holding. Toilet water. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 87. Let me tell you, it will be on the shelves at 12 o'clock tonight, which happens to be 0 o'clock in the morning on Children's Day, so it can be regarded as a holiday for this book, haha. First of all, I would like to thank the readers who have always supported this book. Thank you to every friend who has read this book, voted for recommendation, monthly vote, and rewarded it. Then I would like to thank my editor Kanan, who has a sharp eye and is a very professional editor. Finally, I would like to thank myself for working very hard along the way. It has not been easy after so many years, but I can still get through it. In fact, thoughtful friends have noticed that I am not a complete newcomer. I have been writing books for several years, but I have never achieved anything special. In fact, Gu Huiyan and I are quite similar. We are always holding our breath, just to prove ourselves. There are always people who regard us as garlic, but how could they have imagined that one day we will bloom? We are not garlic, we are daffodils. To be honest, I put a lot of my blood and bones into this book, my heart and soul. Since I started writing, I have been preparing various characters and thinking about various plots. I just want to write a book that when I look back on it, I will still think about how I wrote it at the time. So awesome. Facts have proved that we did it. Starting from the recommendation above, we followed the 4-round routine. We can say that we were holding 2 watermelon knives in our hands, cutting from Nantianmen to Penglai East Road. The knife was raised and dropped with the hand, and the shark's sky was dim and the earth was dark. Basically all of them were hummed to death during the same period, and all of them had their crotches humiliated. I have been promoted on the homepage, Trumpet, and Sanjiang, and reached the 3rd place on the new book list. There is a great master in front of me and a level 5. There is no shame in not being able to do it. Okay, let's stop bragging and let's talk about books. I have been writing this book until now, and I feel quite comfortable writing it myself. In fact, if I hadn't written the troublemaker part and the Adiao part, I think my subscriptions would have been higher, but I don't regret writing that part. Because I am not writing a fast food article. I plan to write this book with 3 to 4 million words on the day I opened it. I cannot let my protagonist have no soul. This is not a disease of literary youth, but just respect for my own work. I think we have a long-term relationship, so don't try to make a small profit at the moment. You know what I mean. I keep exporting it to you. My goal is to be able to accompany friends who like the books I write for a long time. People always tell me, no wonder you are called Narcissus, you are steamed water. But how could they go back and count how many details and plots there are in our free content of less than 200,000 words? Why bother with the little black guy showing his chicken feet? Because you are not a newcomer, the following plots will definitely not disappoint you. Both the quality and quantity will keep up. You can just watch it. If it doesn't look good, just criticize it. Okay, let's stop talking nonsense. I have written 1,000 words for nothing more than a few copper coins and a few tales of broken silver. Let's be more realistic, please subscribe. It will be put on the shelves at 0 o'clock in the morning. I hope friends can subscribe. Our goal is not high, just the best products on the first day will be enough. This book is very well prepared, the most well prepared among all my books, especially the manuscript. In the early morning, I will release 4 chapters of 4,000 words at once, and I guarantee that there will be 50,000 words of updates within 24 hours. Above, I will put all the recent archives for everyone to read at once. Follow-up updates will try to be more than 10,000 words a day, and they will be as big as possible. They will be large and full, and they will never be short and weak, so don't worry. To me, being on the shelves can be regarded as the awakening of the spirits and the lifting of the seal. As for adding more updates, tentatively, I will reward you with 20,000 plus an update. To be honest, the daily update task is quite heavy. Additional updates can only depend on the situation, but I will definitely not deny it. Long live Sister Lee, everyone. To be honest, I don't recommend giving rewards. It's not that I don't want to add more updates. It's mainly because I think if you have the money, it's better to subscribe to a few more chapters and read a few more chapters. Of course, if you join the alliance, just pretend I didn't say anything, haha. Finally, please ask for some recommendation votes and monthly passes. Although I don't know what the use of this thing is, I want to have what others have. Can you also want me to have what others don't have? Haha, let's stop talking nonsense. If I have time to write a bunch of testimonials, writing the main text is better than anything else. I'm already excited. I'm going to code. See you in the morning. The good wind uses its power to send me to the blue clouds. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 88. Toilet water. It is something that is used by thousands of households in summer. Its main function is to repel mosquitoes and sterilize. It is very effective. It can also be used as an air freshener, and can also remove prickly heat and relieve itching. It has many effects. In short, it is an essential fashion item for every household in the hot summer. It's just that because a lot of ethanol and essence are added to it, the smell of the toilet water will be a bit strong. The ones with various flavors newly launched in recent years are relatively better. The more classic toilet water smells like a steel needle drilling into your nostrils. You can smell it from afar. And coincidentally, the bottle Gu Huiyan bought had a more classic flavor. It's not that he doesn't want to buy other flavors, but that the store seems to carry this one, and the villagers in the village recognize this flavor. If you buy other flavors that are flashy and expensive, they may not buy them. Itself. The aroma of tea is relatively soft, and slightly other flavors can be easily covered up. This toilet water tastes like a gangster. I won't accept any taste. Hum it hard. Just spray out a little, and it will spread instantly. When it comes into contact with the fragrance of tea, it will instantly attack the ground and go straight to Huanglong, stripping away the entire fragrance of tea without leaving any trace. Doesn't the smell evaporate quickly on rainy days? Not sensitive? Then the smell of toilet water will be easier for everyone to smell. Just at that moment. As soon as the smell of toilet water came out, the smell of tea, cosmetics, perfume, etc. disappeared in an instant. The smell that everyone's noses smelled almost became the smell of the bottle of toilet water in Gu Huiyan's hand. For a moment, the guests stared at each other with big eyes and small eyes, full of questions. Puff. Then, a group of netizens laughed. They all expressed, "No. I'm having tea there. Why are you spraying some toilet water on me?" As expected of you, Gu Huiyan, I've never accepted anyone's advice in this area of work. Ha ha ha, you are really the one who shows off your eyes, my brother Gu. Why aren't you done yet? Gu Huiyan has been brainwashing everyone with his exposure aesthetics since morning. People eat cereal and drink milk, but he cooks instant noodles and eats ham sausage. The kung fu tea they brewed was high-end and classy. He was wearing a pair of flip-flops while washing his feet. He turned around and asked him if he wanted to drink tea. He made iced black tea. Now that someone is enjoying the tea after drinking it, well, he just puts on a bottle of toilet water. You would never imagine what kind of work Gu Huiyan could do for you next. Yes. Across the screen, the audience may not be able to smell the fragrance of the $1000 De Hongbao tea, but they know very well how strong the smell of the classic toilet water is. I know even more clearly how low the combat effectiveness of that soft tea scent is compared to the rogue smell of toilet water. This made them unable to help but complain. Whose star sprays toilet water? The smell of toilet water is so strong that even cosmetics and perfumes can't cover it up. Have you ever seen any celebrities smell like toilet water? Many celebrities would rather be bitten by mosquitoes than use toilet water. Maybe they think the smell is cheap and will lower their taste. Let's get back to the subject. Let's just say that Gu Huiyan was really crazy today. The crazy chores and bombarding effects of the show made everyone feel numb. At the same time, they had to admire Gu Huiyan, because after coming to this show for a few days, Gu Huiyan did so many chores, and he didn't really bring any heavy ones. What a talent! Ding, the host successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, points at 91x5. Gu Huiyan was spraying toilet water when he received the system reminder. To be honest, Gu Huiyan was not surprised to receive the system prompt, but in fact, he still wanted to buy toilet water even without the system. Last night, I really became a mosquito ration. I had a lot of bumps on my body. From eating until now, I always have a few itchy places on my body, especially on my arms. If I scratch them again, the skin will break. Yes, the fragrance of this thing may be strong, and it may be a little cheap compared to the high-end cosmetics and perfumes used by celebrities, but it works. No matter how good the perfume or cosmetics are, no matter how famous they are, no matter how expensive they will not only itch but also repel mosquitoes. No matter how good this toilet water is, no matter how cheap it is useful after all. Gu Huiyan, you. At that time in the tea room, several guests were dumbfounded. Especially the actor Su Yuntang, he just wanted to praise the fragrance of his Dahongbao tea and let everyone taste it carefully. As a result, mid-sentence, I was suddenly overwhelmed by the smell of Gu Huiyan's toilet water. There is no scent of tea at all. The whole room smells like his toilet water. The scent of tea just now was so classic and elegant, but why did it all turn into that cheap toilet water scent in just a few seconds? Creak. Su Yuntang's hand holding the teacup was trembling so much. He really had the urge to throw the bowl of tea at Gu Huiyan's face. Huh? What's wrong? Gu Huiyan, who was spraying toilet water, didn't seem to notice anything and looked at the guests strangely. To be honest, Gu Huiyan may be too ordinary to understand the fragrance of tea among those who are particular about tea drinkers. This is not because he is rude, because he really can't get it. Most people don't pay much attention to their tea. As long as it tastes good, who cares whether his tea tastes good or not? In Gu Huiyan's eyes, there was no connection between everyone drinking everyone else's tea and spraying their own toilet water, so he even wondered why they looked at him so much. Seeing his innocent and simple look, the guests were a little confused for a moment and didn't know what to say about him. Pook. The mature sister Xylin smiled and said, "Didn't Jingshu give you mosquito-repellent water this morning?" "Yes, but this one works better." Gu Huiyan nodded, and when he had finished spraying, he put the toilet water down casually. Then in front of the guests and the camera, he reached out and took the red plastic bag that he had just put the things in, and under everyone's confused eyes, I took out a few green, small boxes. Fenjujing. At that time, the barrage exploded again, and many netizens were stunned by Gu Huiyan, and they all said, "You really want a full set, don't you, Gu Huiyan? I really have you. I have to remind you again that you are recording a show, brother." Haha, when he took out the toilet water, I should have thought that he also bought Fenjujing, blaming me, ha ha ha. It always feels so embarrassing to be a fan of Gu Huiyan, ha ha ha. Toilet water and wind oil essence are must-have items in hot summer. In fact, strictly speaking, toilet water does not relieve itching. The illusion of relieving itching is just that the alcohol in it stimulates the area where inflammation has occurred. Not only does the stimulation fail to treat dermatitis, alcohol, iminin and other ingredients can also aggravate skin irritation and make inflammation more severe. Aggravated. The main functions of toilet water are actually to repel mosquitoes and sterilize. Fenjujing is truly an artifact that has anti-inflammatory, analgesic, cooling, and anti-itching effects. It can even be used for headaches and dizziness caused by colds, as well as discomfort caused by joint pain, toothache, abdominal distension, and motion sickness. It is a veritable artifact. Puff. When Gu Huiyan took out Fenjujing, Zhang Shuo laughed. He just wanted to say that this bumpkin really refreshed their understanding of him without any limits. This might only cost 1 or 2 yuan for Fenjujing. To be honest, Zhang Shuo hadn't seen it in countless years. And the thought of possibly having to smell this stuff made him even a little disgusted. Pei Jingshu and Xylin are better, they actually don't care. Shang Zuoyan disliked him, but she was always amused by Gu Huiyan. To be honest, at this moment, Shang Zuoyan suddenly understood why she became familiar with Gu Huiyan so quickly. Maybe it's because the two of them are actually more alike. To be honest, although Shang Zuoyan is a top actress and the most popular female idol in domestic entertainment, her family conditions and the people and things she has been exposed to since childhood are similar to those of Gu Huiyan. During her years as a trainee, she also endured hardships. When Su Yuntang was making tea just now, do you think she really understood what Su Yuntang called tea ceremony? I actually don't understand. Pei Jingshu and Zhang Shuo may come from wealthy families, and the elders in the family drink tea, so they have a little understanding of it. However, Shang Zuoyan's family is actually an ordinary working-class family, and there have been no serious tea drinkers around her since she was a child. And at her age, especially for women, there is no one around her to drink tea. Because of this, when Su Yuntang was making tea just now, she had the urge to feel that she was awesome and wanted to praise her. Use this to hide the fact that you are different from the people around you. And she may not realize it, but Gu Huiyan and she are actually the same kind of person. I grew up eating ice cream sold at the store in front of the school for 50 cents a piece. For breakfast, my parents would cook instant noodles that cost 1 or 2 yuan a pack at that time. I would also drink Coca-Cola and potato chips when I was hungry. In the summer, sometimes I used toilet water or essential oil. Ordinary people. This is why she was the first to make the first NDA move when she smelled Gu Huiyan's braised beef instant noodles. The entertainment industry is so high-end that people who are brought into it feel that if they are not more advanced, they may not be worthy of this industry. After becoming popular, it may be that they are used to living a life of luxury, surrounded by flowers and applause, so people will subconsciously dislike their former humble self. Maybe I am used to perfumes costing tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands per bottle, so I feel that toilet water costing more than 20 yuan and wind oil essence costing a few yuan are cheap. Karen's background cannot be changed, nor can the character developed by the environment around him since childhood. One thing that Shang Zuoyan can never deny is that when she sees Gu Huiyan's potato chips and iced Coke, she is really more excited than Pei Jingshu and the others. It really seems to be engraved in the DNA. Because they are the same kind of people, Shang Zuoyan may have a natural affinity with Gu Huiyan, so she quickly became familiar with them. As for the difference between the two of them, in fact, it's just a different way of doing things. There are always some people who care about face. Even if they are from ordinary backgrounds, they always want others to think they are the same as them. They are afraid that others will look down on them, so they will put down people like themselves to lift themselves up. Isn't that what they say? I was caught in the rain, so I had to tear up other people's umbrellas. And this is not a sign of inferiority. There are also some people who don't care. In their eyes, your superiority has nothing to do with me. You pretend to be yours, and I live my normal life. Whether others are good or bad has nothing to do with me. One kind of person, different choices. Many people will criticize the former, but many people are the former. There is nothing wrong with following the crowd, because since childhood, the world has been teaching you how to be like others and how to be others. Good standards are there. It's your fault if you don't learn. In one sentence. It's not me that's wrong, it's the world. Speaking of which, Shang Xuan is actually a little envious of Gu Huiyan, envious that he is so confident that he can talk to him about 3 yuan a bottle of iced black tea while drinking Su Yuntang's De Hongbao, which costs tens of thousands of dollars. Realizing this, Xiaoma Shang Xuan looked at Gu Huiyan with much softer eyes. Boom. Putting down the toilet water and bag, Gu Huiyan stood up, took out a fenjujing, and walked towards the tea table while saying, "There have been a lot of mosquitoes these past 2 days, so I bought some fenjujing, Sister Xylin." As he was talking, he suddenly pointed at his mature sister Xylin. Under Xylin's somewhat confused eyes, Gu Huiyan handed the fenjujing in his hand to Xylin, pointed to the bag on her arm and said, "I saw you had a bite on your hand this morning. Here, I'll give you this." Seeing this scene, Su Yuntang, who had an ugly expression to begin with, almost couldn't stand it. It doesn't matter that Gu Huiyan is disgusted with him. What does he mean by being so considerate to Xylin? Xylin was also stunned for a moment. She had the impression that she had never told Gu Huiyan that she was also bitten by a mosquito. When they were chatting in the morning, Gu Huiyan hadn't gotten up yet. "How do you know?" The mature sister raised her beautiful hand in a daze and took the fenjujing handed over from Gu Huiyan, with surprise written all over her exotic face. "I saw it this morning when I was cooking noodles." Gu Huiyan pointed to her arm and said, "This essential oil is very useful for mosquito bites, but it just needs a bit of a strong smell." As soon as he said this, "You know how strong the taste is." The barrage was almost overwhelmed by him, and the audience couldn't laugh or cry at him. "Thank you, thank you." The mature sister's pretty face turned a little red, she pursed her lips and smiled slightly, nodding towards Gu Huiyan. Speaking of which, girls of any age are really easily impressed by such details. He saw it, but he didn't say anything or ask. You thought he didn't know, he didn't care, and you didn't mention it, but he silently bought you the most practical thing when you didn't expect it. Care about you. That kind of attention to detail is what touches a girl's heart the most. Looking at Xylin's expression, Su Yuntang almost bit his back molars to pieces. To be honest, if it weren't for a legitimate reason, he would have turned against Gu Huiyan and fought for his life. When this kid rides on a horse, it seems like he's been given a green helmet. Also looking displeased was Pei Jingshu. Although she thought Gu Huiyan did this very considerately, he was dealing with another girl. However, Pei Jingshu didn't know what to say. She struggled in her mind for a long time, and finally thought, "Why didn't I get bitten by a mosquito?" She thought that if she was bitten by a mosquito, maybe Gu Huiyan would care about her and send her Fenju essence, right? Thinking of this, she couldn't help but sigh. The possibility was actually quite small, because every night her sister would call her assistant to help her with mosquito repellent. Having said that, if Pei Jingshu's idea is heard by the audience and fans, it will definitely explode on the spot. That fenjujing is so good. That stuff tastes so strong. You are Pei Jingshu. Can you use that thing? Would you rather get bitten by a mosquito just to get that old six to give you fenjujing? You are too infatuated with love, right? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 89. I bought several and put them in the cabinet over there. You can get them if you want to use them. After giving fenjujing to Xylin, Gu Huiyan casually said to everyone. To be honest, from when Gu Huiyan took out toilet water and then took out fenjujing, many people sneered at him and even wanted to laugh at him. Zhang Shuo is a typical example, and many fans are madly condemning Gu Huiyan. But at this moment, none of them could deny that Gu Huiyan really had good intentions. Because he was unlucky to have grass behind his room, he became mosquito ration at night and was bitten all over his body. He didn't complain at all. He went to buy toilet water and wind oil essence, remembering to bring some for everyone. You can scold him for disturbing the elegant atmosphere of Suyuntang, or even say that he is a bit rude, but he is really quite simple and warm-hearted. It just feels like a silly but kind-hearted boy next door. Gu Huiyan at that moment made many people who had scolded him feel a little embarrassed. After taking toilet water and fenjujing, Gu Huiyan did not do any more work in the morning. To be honest, the camera just took a photo of the red plastic bag Gu Huiyan was carrying back, for fear that there might be some Gu Huiyan's job inside that they didn't know about. Speaking of which, Gu Huiyan's boss, the producer of the show, Zhang Dan and Zhang Ma, called Gu Huiyan over during the noon shooting break, giving him a good scolding. Why? Because I told him yesterday not to buy any more unsponsored products for use. It was very troublesome to Mosaic, but in the end, he went in and out of one ear and completely turned a deaf ear. Starting this morning, the braised beef instant noodles, ham sausage, toilet water, fenjujing, which one is not sponsored? Regarding this, Gu Huiyan was non-committal. If you want to say that instant noodles and ham sausages are his job, he admits his mistake, but Gu Huiyan doesn't want to use the essential oils and toilet water. Oh, I have been bitten a lot by my boss because our program team didn't sponsor the mosquito repellent water. Do you have to endure it? What the hell are you kidding? Zhang Dan is the boss, otherwise Gu Huiyan would have taught her a lesson. And Gu Huiyan is embarrassed to say that he has already taken care of the show crew's feelings. Otherwise, what will you do if he buys a few more coils of mosquito coils? Seeing Gu Huiyan being punished, the best actor Su Yuntang and top actor Zhang Shuo felt a little relieved and let out bad breaths. Especially the actor Su, who really forced himself to finish the tea in the morning. God knows how he felt when he drank his own Dahongbao while smelling the mixed smell of toilet water and wind oil essence. That's simply Rilago. I have never drank tea like this in my life. He felt that he would be reminded of this sharp music when he drank tea in the future, mainly because of the smell of the mixture of wind oil essence and toilet water, a kind of plant. Pattering. In the afternoon, the rain outside was no longer as strong as it was in the morning. After lunch, watching the rain falling, Gu Huixin said that the idea of playing basketball in the afternoon was definitely ruined. Even if it stopped raining now, the basketball court wouldn't be available for a while. Also, it's Monday today, and those middle school students must have gone to school. They definitely don't have much time to play ball in the afternoon, and there's no time in the evening either for self-study or homework. Gu Huiyan can't afford to delay others' homework in the evening. I did a lot of work in the morning, and I earned a lot of points. Gu Huiyan didn't use it yesterday. Today I have nearly 7 or 8,000 points, so it doesn't matter whether I earn it in the afternoon or not. You have to eat your food one bite at a time. You can't eat it and become fat. Wasn't it because I was bitten by mosquitoes last night that I couldn't sleep? People tend to get sleepy on rainy days. In the afternoon, Gu Huiyan yawned without even sitting down for a while after washing the dishes. Since there was nothing else to do, I simply said hello and went upstairs to take a nap. It's strange for people, when they don't touch the bed, they feel sleepy, but when they lie down on the bed, they instantly feel as energetic as if they had taken a tube of chicken blood. Gu Huiyan lay on the bed and simply studied how to use the points in the system. In fact, it feels like there are many things, including acting, dancing, singing, music theory, timbre. At present, Gu Huiyan's only dancing and singing skills are at LV4, and the others are at LV2. Now it takes almost 2,000 points to upgrade to LV4, while LV2 requires less. Gu Huiyan thought that his current singing skills were enough, but he didn't really need to increase his singing skills. What's more, singing actually requires far more than just singing skills. Tone. Gu Huiyan thought for a moment and simply added points to the timbre. How could a good singer's timbre lag behind others? It was the biggest source of identification for a singer. Having a good tone can even make people ignore their singing skills. So Gu Huiyan decisively added points to the sound quality. He earned 1,500 points and upgraded 2 levels in a row, reaching LV4. For a moment, Gu Huiyan felt slight changes in his vocal cords, nasal cavity, cranial cavity and other places. When he spoke a little, he felt that the resonance in those places became much stronger. The so-called tone recognition, in fact, many singers have their own characteristics in some nasal cavity and cranial cavity resonance. The system cannot directly change Gu Huiyan's voice. Voice change is too nonsense. Simply use the knife in these aspects. This it made Gu Huiyan feel quite comfortable. He had nearly 8,000 points in his hand just now, and now he has only used 1,500 points. Looking at the remaining 6,000 points, Gu Huiyan felt no pressure, so he just kept doing nothing and decisively spent another 2,000 points on the sound. Increase the tone to LV5. In Gu Huiyan's world, whether it is money or points, these things are consumables. They are earned, not saved. If you don't have them, you can earn them again. As long as they are worth the money and useful. After adding the sounds, Gu Huiyan glanced briefly and then focused on music theory. Music theory is actually quite complex. Knowledge of music theory plays a considerable role in composing music, and it is a great help in understanding songs. Some professional songwriters, some of whom don't even know how to play an instrument, are able to compose quite good music because they have sufficient knowledge of music theory. Don't look at people like Gu Huiyan. He actually knows a lot of musical instruments. There are basically no instruments that he can't play, such as the guitar and the keyboard. He thought that if his knowledge of music theory also improved, would his ability to play these instruments also increase? Just do it. Gu Huiyan spent another 3,500 points on music theory at once, and was immediately promoted to LV5. At that moment, Gu Huiyan felt that his understanding of some music theory knowledge immediately became very clear. He had also taught some difficult songs during music theory classes at the company. Some songs and accompaniments were difficult. But now that Gu Huiyan recalled it, he felt it was easy to keep up with that point. What this thing improves is probably the understanding of music theory in the brain. One noon, Gu Huiyan studied with great pleasure. Outside the window, in the rain, a pupa was lying on a branch, and a few cracks were slowly appearing on its somewhat shriveled back. Soon, a butterfly broke out of the pupa shell, flapped its wings, and flew up. Probably because he was too fascinated by the system, Gu Huiyan fell asleep without even realizing it. This thing is not the same as a mobile phone, which still needs to be held in your hand. This thing appears directly in your mind, and it is normal for you to fall asleep while looking at it. Pattering. It is raining lightly outside the window, and people sleep deeply on that rainy day. Gu Huiyan learned a lesson this time and sprayed the room with the mosquito-repellent water given by Pei Jingshu and the toilet water he bought himself. It was a two-pronged approach. Not to mention the grass behind the window of the room, even the grass in his room also drove away the mosquitoes. Here. Because of this, Gu Huiyan had a very comfortable sleep. Well. When I woke up, the room was dark. It was getting dark quickly on a rainy day, and I didn't know what time it was outside. When Gu Huiyan first woke up, he had the illusion that he had traveled through time and it was morning now, and he was a little confused. After checking the time, I remembered that it was afternoon. It's already past 6 o'clock in the afternoon. He has been sleeping since about 1 o'clock after lunch until now. Think about it. I did oversleep a little bit. Gu Huiyan scratched his head, and it really felt like he was blushing. After all, he was here to record a show. Whose artist sleeps while recording a show? Does he still have any artistic ethics? Sitting up and rubbing his messy hair, Gu Huiyan originally thought about washing it, but when he thought of washing it in the morning, he simply took the grey peaked cap he had worn when dancing before and put it on his head. I was originally wearing the same big pants and flip-flops that I wore during the day and planned to go downstairs. But as soon as I opened the door, a cold wind blew. Walk. He blew it back directly to Gu Huiyan. I had no choice but to change into a pair of trousers and add a jacket. It has been raining all day, and the temperature will naturally drop at night. Gu Huiyan just wants to earn points by doing his job, but that doesn't mean he doesn't want his life. If he catches a cold, it will delay him from earning more points, which is not worth the loss. At that time, the scene of Gu Huiyan standing at the door and being blown back to change clothes by the cold wind happened to be captured by the camera. At that time, many netizens couldn't stop laughing and said, "You know it's cold, grandson, Zay. You keep wearing your underwear, I'll look down on you if you don't." Ha ha ha, it turns out that you, Gu Huiyan, also know how to be cold. Gu Huiyan, I am stupid, but I am not stupid. Ha ha ha. When Gu Huiyan went downstairs, he found that the guests were already in the guest room. Let's just say that these people recording programs are good at creating atmosphere. It's dark, so the bright headlights are not turned on in the living room right now. Instead, there are a few portable lamps in dim and warm colors. The guests sat around, chatted, drank hot water, and it was quite an atmosphere. "You're awake." When she saw Gu Huiyan coming downstairs, Pei Jingshu pursed her lips and smiled at him. "You still know how to wake up, I thought you fell asleep." Shang Zuoyan still gave a burst of irritated ridicule. Looking at his outfit, it was quite novel. "Hey, you finally know how to change clothes?" Puff. This statement made a lot of people laugh at the time. Indeed, there were not many scenes of Gu Huiyan not wearing pants and slippers. In response, Gu Huiyan just smiled and ignored it. At this time, the mature sister Xylin waved to him from a distance and asked, "I made some ginger soup, do you want to drink it? Isn't the weather a little cold? It's quite humid outside. Drink some ginger soup to remove the moisture and avoid the cold." Naturally, no one would refuse the ginger soup prepared by the goddess Xylin. Pei Jingshu, Shang Zuoyan, Zhang Shuo, and Su Yuntang all had a bowl. Actor Su had already drank his third bowl, praising Xylin's ginger soup for how well it was cooked. However, Gu Huiyan calmly carried his cup and ran to the drinking fountain, took a glass of cold water, and said while drinking, "No, I have a strong yang energy, thank you." As soon as these words came out, then, puff, cough cough cough. Almost everyone in the room laughed out loud. Shang Zuoyan and Pei Jingshu just laughed, but Zhang Shuo and Su Yuntang over there started spraying, and then the faces of the two male guests turned black. What does Gu Huiyan mean by this? Oh, since he has a strong yang energy, he doesn't need to drink it. If they drink it, does that mean his yang energy is not strong? So if a masculine man's yang energy is not important, why is it important? Is it heavy? Especially the actor Su Yuntang. Because it was Xylin who cooked it up, he had already drank the third bowl of ginger soup. Gu Huiyan came up and made a correction, which made him feel like his yang qi was weak and he had to drink 3 bowls in a row. Ha ha ha. Netizens next door also laughed like crazy, and they all said, "No, Gu Huiyan, can you please be more careful when speaking in the future? How can you not be reported by fans online for being like this? Ha ha ha, he is really heartless. This is not an act." In fact, Gu Huiyan is indeed careless and heartless sometimes. Maybe it's because I haven't been on many announcements or programs, so I often don't know what the people around me are doing when I speak. Take just now, he was just thinking, ginger soup? Isn't that stuff just for women? I, a 1.8 meter tall guy, drink some ginger soup and I feel very yang. Why? If you want it, labor and management still have child urine. Then it is natural to say that I have enough yang energy. He didn't mean to ridicule others at all. He really didn't expect that Su Yuntang and Zhang Shuo would take their place. The two of them looked at each other with something amiss, and Gu Huiyan quickly reacted and said apologetically, I didn't mean to say that you don't have a strong yang energy, no, I don't have that. He felt that the more he explained, the more unclear he became. Ha ha ha. Shang Zuoyan on the side laughed so hard that she buried her head in Pei Jingshu's shoulder, which made Pei Jingshu uncomfortable for a while. Zhangshuo, Pan. Su Yuntang, hum pan hum. If this wasn't in front of the camera and in front of the audience, they would have had the urge to give Gu Huiyan a good beating. Laughter and laughter can be regarded as a small episode. It is worth mentioning that, probably because of Gu Huiyan's yang energy, no one drank the ginger soup made by Xylin. Especially Zhang Shuo and Su Yuntang. Zhang Shuo didn't even take a bite of the last half of the bowl, and secretly emptied it while hiding from Xylin. Here we have to admire our pure love warrior actor Su Yuntang. He gritted his teeth and took the last bite despite the pressure. Thanks to you. The mature sister Xylin looked at the remaining half of the pot of ginger soup and looked helplessly at Gu Huiyan and said, all that's left. Upon seeing this, Gu Huiyan apologized deeply, thought for a while and simply said, then let me drink. As he spoke, he ran to the sideboard to find an oversized bowl, and poured half of Xylin's small pot of ginger soup into the bowl. Pick it up. Gurgling. I was completely bored. Then. Zhang Shuo. Su Yuntang. The two of them looked confused. What's the situation? Didn't you say that you don't need to drink if you have a strong yang energy? The subtext is that who doesn't have enough yang energy should drink. Others were so disgusted that they couldn't drink anymore. Why did you take such a big gulp? You really don't eat people. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 90. Puk, cluck. Watching Gu Huiyan gulping down ginger soup, and catching a glimpse of Zhang Shuo and Su Yuntang's reactions, the mature sister Xylin was made to giggle. Drink slowly. Seeing Gu Huiyan dripping from his mouth because of the quick ginger soup he drank, Xylin hurriedly took a tissue and handed it to Gu Huiyan when he put down his bowl. Looking at Xylin Su Yuntang, who was so considerate, the corners of her mouth twitched crazily. Call. Gu Huiyan wiped his mouth, nodded and said, delicious. Xylin was amused by him, and she couldn't laugh or cry at him. You'd like a bowl of ginger soup, my sister. The barrage is all about. Gu Lao 6. You are really that old 6. It's true that I called you old 6. Obviously, even the audience sympathizes with Su Yuntang and Zhang Shuo. Gu Huiyan said that he didn't need to drink because he was too yang wai, so he stabbed them in the back, but turned around and drank a big bowl of it himself to please Xylin. Isn't this enough for Lao 6? But having said that, Gu Huiyan is really a very diligent child. Although he drank the ginger soup a bit passively, he still took the initiative to help wash the dishes after drinking it. This made the mature sister Xylin feel quite fond of her. Speaking of it, Su Yuntang was actually not the kind of person who knew how to wash dishes. Usually he cooks with his own hands, but rarely washes the dishes with his own hands. Once, Xylin and a few friends were invited to his home in Shanghai for a dinner. He cooked a few special dishes, but the dishes and tableware were all cleaned by his aunt. I have almost never seen Su Yuntang washing dishes when I came to this show. With the style of the actor Su, how could he allow himself to do such a thing as washing dishes? Xylin always feels that people can't just have a sense of pictures, style, and elegance, which are reflected in their moral character and daily life, and they can't be deliberate. Everyone stopped eating dinner that night. Celebrities don't eat very much at night. They have been on this show for several days because they eat every day during the recording of the show. Others are fine. Even though Zwoyan, the little wild horse, has been drilled crazily by her manager these 2 days, and also gained 2 kilograms. This was the reason why she had been frowning for a long time today. To be honest, Gu Huiyan wasn't very hungry. After lunch, he went up to sleep and didn't even bother to eat anything until now. I had a big appetite the past 2 days because I was playing basketball. Gu Huiyan didn't want to stand out when everyone agreed not to eat dinner. He also wanted to be popular. Pattering. I originally thought that the rain might stop at night and we all went out for a walk. However, it turned out that the rain got heavier at night. It makes people helpless. It seems that today is destined to be a day to stay at home. Aha! Gu Huiyan sat on the sofa and yawned. At this time, everyone was sitting in a circle, the lights were dim, and the air was mixed with the moist smell of rain and the smell of toilet water and fenju essence from Gu Huiyan's body. To be precise, not only Gu Huiyan has it, but even her mature sister Xylin also smells of essential oil. Speaking of this matter, Su Yuntang has always been very depressed. He couldn't imagine that Xilin's body would smell of fenjujing, but in the afternoon he watched Xylin use fenjujing. My eyes are splitting. After thinking about it, he felt that Gu Huiyan should still be blamed. If Gu Huiyan doesn't buy it for Xylin, how can Xylin use it? It's all Gu Huiyan's fault. He has to take the blame even if he doesn't take it. Ah, sneeze. Gu Huiyan sneezed and felt that Su Yuntang was always staring at him, which made him a little nervous. He thought to himself that he had done nothing. If he had done nothing wrong, he would not be afraid of ghosts knocking on the door. Gu Huiyan simply pretended not to notice and turned to chat with Pei Jingshu. In other words, after spending a day in the small courtyard, it was actually a bit boring. Everyone except Zhang Shuo seemed to be deeply affected. Shang Zuoyan even stood up and stretched her waist. The sexy willow waist is very eye-catching. Zhang Shuo has been holding his laptop all afternoon, seeming to be tinkering with the arrangement of a song or something. What are you doing? It's been all afternoon. Shang Zuoyan happened to get up and move around and saw it, so she asked casually. At that time, the corners of Zhang Shuo's mouth rose slightly, thinking that someone finally someone asked. I'm working on a song. He acted quite calmly, without looking away from the computer, and said calmly. It's the theme song of our show. Oh. As soon as these words came out, everyone's attention was instantly attracted. Everyone looked at Zhang Shuo. A group of his fans also appeared on the barrage and frantically posted about how talented my country was. Seeing that he suddenly became the focus of everyone and the center of discussion, Zhang Shuo was secretly happy in his heart, but his face remained calm as he said. I have been working on this song before it came out, and I have been working hard on it in the past 2 days. It turns out that you wrote the theme song of our show. Shang Zuoyan had a look of astonishment on her face. She had heard of it before, but didn't care much about it. After all, she couldn't write songs, so it would be fine if someone asked her to sing. It's not just me who writes it. Zhang Shuo seemed to mention it casually, glanced at Gu Huiyan in the corner who had been silent and looking down, and said. Yesterday I heard that the program team also asked teacher Xiao Gu to try it. He had always called Gu Huiyan vaguely. When they first met, he called him landlord. Later, he just stopped calling him when they didn't deal with him. Now he didn't know if he was flattering him, so he called him little teacher Gu. Everyone looked at Gu Huiyan after hearing this, which was not surprising. After all, Gu Huiyan's song A Diao had a pretty good score. Huh? What's wrong? Gu Huiyan was distracted just now when he suddenly saw everyone staring at him and couldn't help but be startled. I heard that you also want to write the theme song for our show. Shang Zuoyan's big, doll-like eyes stared at Gu Huiyan and asked curiously. Yes. Gu Huiyan nodded and slept all afternoon, forgetting all about it. Seeing his careless appearance, Everyone couldn't help but burst into laughter, feeling that he was unreliable no matter how he looked at him. A group of people also appeared in the comment area saying, "No, although I also want to believe Gu Huiyan, why does this kid look so unreliable? Haha, I feel deeply about it. I just told him yesterday. Maybe he hasn't figured out how to write it yet. There is a good song a Diao, but do you expect a second one?" To be honest, a Diao did surprise a lot of people, but everyone still doesn't believe in Gu Huiyan that much. There are many people who write one fire song, but there are very few people who write multiple fire songs. It may be true that Gu Huiyan is a bit of a pig pretending to eat a tiger, but people don't think he can eat a tiger once and eat a second time. Of course, the main reason is that he looks too carefree. I slept all afternoon, and now my eyelids seem to be tired. I was distracted just now, and I was holding a hat. When I lowered my head, I didn't know that I might have thought that he fell asleep again. He. Looking at everyone's reactions, Zhang Shuo laughed. The little calculation in my heart was pounding loudly. Still don't give up? The theme song Zhang Shuo wrote for Crystal Love Season was actually quite serious and well prepared. He found a relatively well-known music production team to work on it, and the quality is definitely above the standard. In the whole song, he actually didn't contribute much in it. Most of the creation was done by professional musicians, and he just needed to pay a little more and add the name of their team to the songwriters. It is enough to say that it is co-creation. If he didn't tell me, who would know which of them contributed more? Fans definitely feel that he has contributed a lot, and even praise him for being generous in adding other people's names to his works. As for the song currently on his computer, he can guarantee that even if he doesn't sing it, it's at least a hit. And Gu Huiyan just received a notice asking him to write a theme song yesterday. Even if he only has 2 days to write, what good work can he write? That's why Zhang Shuo dared to mention this matter so confidently. The purpose is nothing more than to take advantage of the situation and suppress Gu Huiyan's arrogance. After this kid finished singing a Diao the day before yesterday, he felt as if everyone's attitude toward him had changed for the better. This made Zhang Shuo feel as uncomfortable as eating a bite of xiang, because he was responsible for it. Today he wanted to see what kind of jobs Gu Huiyan, a clown, could do. Zhang Ma, the boss of Gu Huiyan's family, who was watching the show, couldn't help but frown, thinking that Zhang Shuo was really evil. But that said, this made her feel a little upset, because it was true that she only told Gu Huiyan about this yesterday. Judging from the way this kid looked like he couldn't wake up, he might have even forgotten. Did teacher Xiao Gu write it? Zhang Shuo also asked Gu Huiyan with a smile. If you write it down, take it out and we can discuss it together. His posture was quite low, and his attitude was hard to find fault with. Pei Jingshu and Shang Zuoyan were keenly aware that something was wrong, but they were not easy to interrupt. I have written it, but I haven't compiled it yet. Gu Huiyan scratched his head and smiled helplessly. He received a notice from Zhang Ma at noon yesterday and actually looked for it from the system mall, but I'm having trouble choosing when I'm looking for it. There are so many good works in the system mall that I can't decide which one to use at the moment. Gu Huiyan was not in a hurry, because Zhang Ma didn't say when she would want it, and she wasn't in a hurry, so he hesitated slowly. You can write it whenever you want. There is no other way to write a song. I can write it for you in minutes. If it weren't for Zhang Shuodi today, he would have forgotten about it. And looking at his heartless look, everyone felt even more unsure. Zhang Shuo secretly rejoiced. Just as he was about to say something, the actor Su Yuntang, who was reading a book next to him, suddenly closed the book with a snap, smiled, and said with interest, "How about you both put on a show and see if we can make any suggestions or something?" Actor Su was indeed pushing the boat along. Goddess Xylan Dai could not help but frown slightly and glanced at Su Yuntang. Su Yuntang's words immediately made Zhang Shuo feel like a god. Zhang Shuo nodded and said with a smile. I have no problem, but Mr. Gu. He also looked like he was thinking about Gu Huiyan. When everyone's eyes are focused on Gu Huiyan. Gu Huiyan scratched his head, then scanned the room and said. Okay, but is there a keyboard here? Keyboard is a general term for a class of musical instruments. For example, piano, organ, electronic keyboard, accordion, etc. can all be called keyboards, just like erhu, violin, cello, etc. are collectively called string instruments. The keyboard Gu Huiyan mentioned must be referring to the relatively portable electronic keyboard used for playing. Gu Huiyan couldn't help but hesitate before putting it on the shelves. Most of the songs he chose were played on the piano, and the guitar was not suitable. But Gu Huiyan glanced around and didn't find any other instruments besides the guitar at the recording side of their program. Yes, I have. When he said this, Zhang Shuo thought he was looking for an excuse not to sing. He thought to himself that you had hit the target, so Zhang Shuo took the initiative and said. I have it over there. Just wait a moment and I'll ask my assistant to get it for you. With that said, he went over to greet his assistant. As a top-notch person, Zhang Shuo has no shortage of any musical instrument. He usually carries instruments such as guitars and keyboards with him. Anyway, he doesn't need to carry them himself, his assistant takes them. Did you really write it? While Zhang Shuo was looking for his assistant, Xiaoma Shangzuoyan sneaked over to Gu Huiyan and asked in a low voice. The perfume on Shangzuoyan is actually not too strong, but it is a bit overpowering. It is as hot as her nickname, Little Wild Horse. The perfumes and cosmetics used by these female stars are not ordinary. It's a pity that the fragrance essence and toilet water on Gu Huiyan's body smelled so bad that Gu Huiyan washed it away before she even had a chance to take a few sips. Gu Huiyan nodded, raised his hands and rubbed his face, trying to cheer himself up. I slept all afternoon. It was raining outside at night and the lights in the house were still so dim. Isn't this forcing people to feel sleepy? Don't force it if you can't. Pei Jingshu, who was next to her, also quietly pulled the corner of Gu Huiyan's clothes and whispered. Gu Huiyan still had a question mark. What can't happen to me, how can a man say no? Before Gu Huiyan could answer, Zhang Shuo had returned, and their conversation had to be abandoned. After a while, Zhang Shuo's staff came over with an electronic keyboard and helped set it up. Best actor Su Yuntang was reading a book, but now he put the book down and smiled, waiting to see the joke. Gu Huiyan, this kid, used toilet water and fenjujing while drinking tea in the morning, so he didn't mind it. The key was that he interacted with Xylin in front of him, bought her fenjujing and cared about her. This was the most unbearable. Who comes first? Having a good electronic keyboard, Zhang Shuo immediately looked at Gu Huiyan. This was Gu Huiyan's first time to discuss and create something like this, and he didn't care, because the few songs in the system were all by Luanxia. After thinking about it, to take care of Zhang Shuo's feelings, if he sang it, he might not be able to sing it. Gu Huiyan simply said. You go first. Okay, then I'll make a sample first. Zhang Shuo walked up to the stage very confidently and sat in front of the electronic keyboard. He raised his hands and rested them on the keys. Both of his hands were almost wearing some fashionable rings or something. In addition, he was indeed handsome. The picture looks very good. Ah! Some of his idiot fans screamed and cheered wildly, and the barrage was instantly drowned out by his idiot fans. Pa bang! Everyone also gave me applause as an encouragement. It's embarrassing. Zhang Shuo was surrounded by people and sang the theme song he composed for the show to everyone. I have to say that this song is indeed good. The lyrics, composition, and arrangement are almost all online, and it fits Zhang Shuo's voice very well. It is a very standard love song. Pa bang bang. When he finished singing, everyone applauded, and even Gu Huiyan couldn't help but applaud and praise him. The quality of the song would at least be in the top 3 of the hot song charts on major music platforms. Thanks, thanks. Zhang Shuo thanked him and took a seat. Then he looked at Gu Huiyan and said with a smile, "It's your turn. Guess what it is about, friends. This song is actually quite appropriate, but it may not be that big of a hit. I feel like you may not be able to guess it, haha."